Hey, what's up? My name is Ryan, and this channel is all about being a musician on YouTube. I review the gear that I use to help you make informed decisions and grow as a musician, as well as share the original music that I write and unique covers I attempt. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and hitting that thumbs up. And I guess there's this bell that if you hit it, it will keep you up to date on my latest video. By the way, huge thanks to each and every one of you who's been subscribing lately. The feedback after my last video has been awesome and really has me stoked to keep making these videos. So thanks a lot. All right, this video is going to be a longer one, so feel free to check out the time codes in the description. Let's get into it. Alright, vocal harmonies can add a great deal to a solo artist's performance. I know this because I've used them for years, especially if they are subtle. Sometimes vocal harmonies can sound robotic if they are played too loud. I definitely spent some time researching the best sounding one to add to my rig. Now if you're not familiar with the Harmony Singer 2, you've likely heard of TC Helicon. Many would argue that their Voice Live series or other pedals and boards stand alone at the top of the vocal effects mountain. Vocal effects mountain? As I start this review, I really don't know if I'm going to end up keeping my separate vocal harmonizer, the Harmony Singer 2, or if I will let the Headrush Looperboard vocal harmonizer feature replace what I long thought was the irreplaceable pedal. The harmonizer feature in the vocal tuner effects rack on the Looperboard offers a lot more customization than this Harmony Singer 2. And while TC Helicon offers a number of other much more detailed and customizable options, today's video is going to mostly look at the differences in tone. But that being said, you can't ignore that all of that customization does influence the listening experience. And even if tonally it doesn't quite match up to the Harmony Singer 2, I'm still contemplating leaving this pedal because of the other features. Speaking of features, let's compare them. Alright, so the Harmony Singer 2 has this tone button. And what this is sort of a compression, EQ. It's sort of a bunch of little features in one, and it's a one quick button. And sometimes those preset buttons that are meant to be useful, sometimes they sound good at first, but you can tire of them quickly, or the effects just don't seem to quite dial in properly. I don't think I've ever used this pedal without this feature being on. I always have the tone button turned on, and it is an element to consider when comparing. So you have your various harmonies, you have a level control for your harmonies, and you have a reverb button where you can dial in different types of reverbs. And honestly, typically I leave these pretty mute, leave it sort of sitting just a hair into this room when I don't play much with the reverb on this particular pedal, although I'm sure it's good. I just haven't gotten into it a ton. Also, it's important to mention that this pedal only works by running a 1/4-inch cable from your instrument, so your guitar, your keyboard, etc. And then as the pedal picks up on the key the instrument is playing, that determines how to harmonize the vocal. It's pretty impressive when it's done in real time. So just to review this pedal real quick, I've loved the simplicity of this pedal and how I can turn it on and off phrase by phrase to really achieve a great effect live. So you can get a line in your song where it's just your voice, and then if you want to add a second line, you can throw the vocal or the harmonies in for the very next line of the song, and you can jump back and forth between your own voice and then the harmonies, and it really can create a nice effect. I played a gig in the spring right before the pandemic, and after I came off stage, a music producer approached me and said, "What was that pedal you were using? Those harmonies sounded really, really good," and that's why I picked this pedal. Okay, now let's look at the Headrush Looperboard Vocal Tuner Harmonizer. We've got Auto, which is just like the Harmony Singer 2. It uses a predetermined input in order to harmonize. So you can set again your guitar, your keyboard, whatever it is, and that will act as the determining key for how to harmonize the vocals. It also gives the ability to preset the key, so if you've had a backing track or a pre-recorded track, as long as you predetermine the key of that track. And that can be found right here in scale. So again, this is where I would determine that. And as you can see up on the screen, you have a number of different harmonies you can play with. You can have up to 2 harmonizing vocals, just like the Harmony Singer 2, and you can adjust the tightness of the harmony. You can control the volume of levels of each individual harmony and the pitch of those, as you see here with voice gender. There is also the ability to set delays to each individual vocal harmony, which can give it a very realistic feel, as when you are actually singing with 2 or 3 other people, you're not always going to be perfectly in sync. You could even set up multiple vocal tuner effects racks that have different amounts of delay and jump between them, giving the listener subtle variations that could bring a song to life, and have your audience forget that there's only one of you on stage. Hopefully I can demo this later in the video. On top of volume, you can pan each vocal, giving the listener the ability to experience each individual voice coming out separately, which, once again, enhances that live experience. You've got full EQ controls as well. And then lastly, you can play with an overall mix, determining how the lead vocal and harmonizing vocals balance. Remember, subtle is better. Don't crank your harmonies. Let it live in the background and the effect will be much more effective. You know, I mentioned the simplicity of the Harmony Singer 2 with being able to turn it on and off. And as I tap the harmony in and out, I don't lose the EQ, which is that tone knob, and reverb settings. They're locked in. So with the Headrush Looperboard, you either have to have 2 vocal tuner effects racks, one with the harmonies, EQ, reverb, etc., and then one without the harmonies, but then all of those EQ, reverb settings, etc., so that you're only switching between those 2, because if you click out your vocal tuner effects rack and you had, you know, EQ, reverb, a high pass gate set, all those things, and once you turn that off, it's going to jump in and you're going to hear a big difference vocally, where the only difference you really want to hear is that harmonizing vocal. And what I just realized was you can basically set up that one effects rack and then program your expression pedal to bring in and bring out your harmonies. And, you know, the plus is you only use one effects rack. The negative being, I guess, that you need an expression pedal, but because the Headrush Looperboard is already very optimized for an expression pedal, you may already have one. All right, can we really compare these? Obviously, the amount of features don't match up, the size of the pedals don't match up, the cost of these don't match up. So why do this comparison? Well, I, along with many of you, are wondering, like, can the Headrush Looperboard Vocal Harmonizer feature really compete with a higher-end, well-known brand that owns this space? So what I'm going to do is be running it straight from my Looperboard into my Focusrite audio interface, which I run with Logic. I'll leave it fairly untouched to give you the most authentic outcome. Let's actually start with a blind test. That way you can determine your unbiased opinion in this comparison. I will only be adjusting the Looperboard using the parameters that exist on the Harmony Singer 2 in an attempt to get a true comparison. So to mimic the tone knob, I'm going to try to play a little bit with, I'm going to turn on the EQ, HP gate, reverb, and compression, which is what I believe that tone knob is doing. Sorry, not the reverb, but obviously I've got a reverb knob on the Harmony Singer 2, so I am going to turn on just a little bit of reverb as, you know, I try to create as realistic of a comparison as possible.
I want to just talk real quick about some of the experiences I've had with trying to do this comparison video. I've found it extremely difficult, and I think that's because I've been trying to make the Headrush Looperboard sound like the Harmony Singer 2, and it hasn't been easy. I've been dialing in EQ a lot, I've been messing around with a lot of the settings, and I've just been really sort of disappointed in it. And what I realized was the tone button on the Harmony Singer 2 is doing a ton of work for that pedal. When that setting is off, It's a massive difference in what this pedal sounds like. And I have it on all the time, so I've kind of taken it for granted. I never really pay attention to it, but it wasn't until I did this comparison where if I turned off the Harmony Singer 2 completely and just ran my harmonies through the Headrush Looperboard, then I was getting a really deep, bassy tone. You could just tell there was no EQ. It was just, it wasn't pleasant to hear. And so I tried to dial in the EQ on the Headrush Looperboard, and I realized the best way to do this comparison is I'm going to actually test the harmonies in the Harmony Singer 2 against the harmonies in the Headrush Looperboard, still using that tone knob, just so that you can hear an accurate comparison of just the harmonies. So this first one is going to be just those harmonies. Here we go.
Taillights burn red, couldn't hide my shame, saw it lit up on that silver screen. There's smoke in the air, couldn't hide my shame, saw it lit up on that silver screen.
Okay, I have a challenge for you. In a second, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and put in the comments an A or a B just based on which one you liked better. This is a great way to see what you thought in a sort of unbiased YouTube poll. Okay, press pause now. All right, Harmonizer A was the Headrush Looperboard and B was the Harmony Singer 2. I'm definitely looking forward to your comments to see which one you liked better. But there's simply too much left undiscussed and unsolved, so let's keep going.
So the Harmony Singer 2, that was comparing both with the tone button engaged on the Harmony Singer 2 in an attempt to try to get as accurate of a comparison as possible of just purely the harmonies. If you are comparing the Harmony Singer 2 to the Headrush Looperboard, well, I used the tone button as a comparison point so that I was trying to eliminate all the EQing factors. The truth is, if you choose one over the other, you're not going to have access to the Harmony Singer 2's tone button if you're just using the Headrush Looperboard. So this time, all I'm going to have is a little bit of compression, a little bit of EQ, and now you'll be able to hear what the difference is between the two in basically the exact same comparison. So this time we're going to be looking at Harmony Singer 2 with the tone button again, and now this time we're going to look at the Headrush Looperboard with the EQ happening in the Headrush Looperboard and not in the Harmony Singer 2. Here we go.
Smoke in the air, couldn't hide my shame, saw it lit up on that silver screen. Full-bellied moon, she's a shining on me. Yeah, 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 yeah. She pulls on this heart like she pulls on the sea.
this time I want to actually have a look at a few of the other elements, which include panning your harmonies sort of left and right to give them maybe this sense that there's other voices happening. So if you've got one vocal, hard to the right and the other one hard to the left, maybe that adds an element of realness to it. So I'm going to have the harmonies split up, and I'm also going to add some slight delays, different delays to each one, again, trying to give it that realistic sound. Here we go.
Smoke in the air, couldn't hide my shame, saw it lit up on that silver screen. And the full-bellied moon, she's a shining on me. Yeah. She pulls on this heart like she pulls on the sea.
All right, so ultimately, this test, at times I really struggled with this comparison. I found it really, really challenging because I really like the sound of the Harmony Singer 2. And as someone who was hoping to reduce the size of my rig, I know it's only one pedal, but it all adds up. And if you can reduce the size of your rig, when Headrush announced this harmonizer, I got super excited. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't need this pedal anymore. For me personally, doing this comparison, I was trying so hard to get my Headrush Looperboard vocal harmonizer to sound like the Harmony Singer 2. And so far, I don't think I'm there yet. There are features in the Headrush Looperboard that really appeal to me. When you can set up those harmonies and then pre-save them as an effects rack in a particular song, meaning when you get to that song in your set, if you've got, say, the fourth space, is set aside for your vocal harmonies, and that's always going to be there, and you don't have to dial in those harmonies every single time, that makes a big difference in, what you're trying to do live, because, I don't have to be bending over thinking, is this song, up a third? Is it up a fifth? What am I doing? Also, the number of harmonies you have access to in the Headrush Looperboard are way more than what this Harmony Singer 2 is. But tonally, and in terms of the quality of the sound of the harmonies, personally at this point, and, I think it's still the Harmony Singer. I think TC Helicon is still, I think they're still king right now. This is all just my first reaction, having just played it and having just listened to it through these headphones. When I'm done the video, if I have other feedback or other opinions once I've finished editing this video together, ultimately I will definitely throw those in at the end of this video too. But at this point, I don't think we're there yet. The other piece is I've only had these effects in the Headrush Looperboard for only a couple weeks now, and I've been trying my very best to figure this out, and it could just come down to a little bit more dialing in of EQ and playing with the balance a little bit more. Anyway, I guess that's all for right now. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's been taking interest in this channel lately, who's been waiting for this video, who's been requesting this video. I'm interested to see what you guys think of the comparison. Maybe you are into what the Headrush Looperboard is doing with these harmonies. Personally, I'm not quite there yet, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Maybe you do, and I value that too. So please let me know in the comment section. And once again, if you got any value out of this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. I really appreciate all of your support of this channel. My name is Ryan. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace!